Ever wondered why ancient Egypt gets the superstar title, the cradle of civilizations? It's not just about pyramids and pharaohs. Let us journey back in time and uncover the real reasons why this ancient land was such a game changer for humanity. Imagine a world thousands of years ago, long before your favorite smartphone or even the wheel was a common thing. In Northeast Africa, along the fertile banks of a mighty river, something truly extraordinary was happening. This was the land of the Nile. And the civilization that blossomed here would lay the groundwork for so much of what we know today. So, what's the big deal? First up, let's talk about agriculture. The ancient Egyptians didn't just stumble upon farming. They mastered it. The Nile River was their lifeline. Every year, it would flood its banks, leaving behind a super-rich, dark soil called silt. This wasn't just dirt, it was a natural fertilizer, perfect for growing crops. The Egyptians became experts at predicting these floods. They developed sophisticated irrigation systems, with canals and ditches to control the water and direct it to their fields. This meant they could grow a surplus of food way more than they needed to just survive. This abundance of food was the first critical step. It allowed people to stop worrying about their next meal and start focusing on other things, like building cities, developing new technologies, and creating art. This agricultural revolution was the foundation upon which everything else was built. Without it, the grand temples and towering pyramids would have been impossible. And speaking of building, let's talk about engineering and architecture. When you think of ancient Egypt, you probably picture the Great Pyramids of Giza. These aren't just giant piles of rock. They are masterpieces of engineering that still baffle experts today. The precision with which they were built, aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points, is mind-blowing. But it wasn't just pyramids. The Egyptians constructed massive temples, like Karnak and Luxor, with colossal statues and towering columns that seemed to touch the sky. They developed the techniques to quarry, transport, and lift enormous blocks of stone, some weighing dozens of tons. They understood principles of leverage, mathematics, and logistics on a scale that was unprecedented. This knowledge didn't just disappear, it was passed down and influenced later civilizations, including the Greeks and Romans, who marveled at what the Egyptians had achieved centuries before them. Next, let's dive into one of their most famous inventions, writing. The Egyptians developed a beautiful and complex system of writing known as hieroglyphs. These weren't just simple pictures. They were a sophisticated combination of symbols representing sounds, objects, and ideas. Writing was revolutionary. It allowed them to record history, manage their vast kingdom, document laws, and share complex knowledge about medicine, astronomy, and religion. Scribes were highly respected professionals who spent years learning this intricate script. They wrote on papyrus, a type of paper made from reeds that grew along the Nile. This made records portable and durable, the ability to record and transmit information accurately across generations was a quantum leap for human society. It was the ancient world's version of the internet, preserving their culture and wisdom for thousands of years. So, from mastering the land to building for eternity and inventing a way to capture thought itself, ancient Egypt was a hub of innovation. But this is just the beginning of the story. In our next part, we'll explore their groundbreaking advances in government, science, and medicine that further cemented their legacy as a true cradle of civilization. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey into the past fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss part 2. See you next time. Welcome back, history lovers. In our last video, we explored how ancient Egypt's innovations in agriculture and governance laid the groundwork for civilization. But that's just the beginning of the story. Today, we're diving deeper into the monumental achievements that truly cemented Egypt's legacy as a cradle of civilizations. Let's talk about writing. While the Sumerians were developing cuneiform, the Egyptians created their own unique and iconic system, hieroglyphics. This wasn't just a way to keep records. It was an art form, a religious tool, and a way to tell stories that would last for millennia. Carved into stone and written on papyrus, hieroglyphics allowed the Egyptians to build a complex bureaucracy, record their history, and pass down incredible knowledge about medicine, astronomy, and mathematics. This ability to record and transmit complex ideas is a cornerstone of any great civilization. And speaking of mathematics, how do you think they built the pyramids? It wasn't guesswork. The Egyptians had a sophisticated understanding of geometry and engineering. They calculated angles with incredible precision, developed principles that we still use in construction today, and organized a workforce on a scale that was previously unimaginable. The Great Pyramid of Giza remained the tallest man-made structure on Earth for over 3,800 years. That's not just building, that's a statement of power, intellect, and ambition that inspired all across the ancient world. But it wasn't all just grand structures and complex scripts. The Egyptians also had a profound impact on culture and belief systems. Their intricate mythology, with gods like Ra, Osiris, and Isis, explored universal themes of life, death, and rebirth. Their advanced mummification techniques and elaborate burial rituals show a deep concern with the afterlife that influenced neighboring cultures for centuries. They developed one of the first solar calendars, a 365-day system that's remarkably similar to the one we use today. This helped them predict the Nile's flooding and organize their society on a reliable time frame. From standardized medicine and surgical practices to advancements in shipbuilding that opened up trade routes across the Mediterranean and Red Sea, ancient Egypt was a beacon of innovation. Their knowledge, culture, and technologies didn't stay within their borders. They spread through trade, diplomacy, and conquest, influencing the Greeks, the Romans, and countless other civilizations that followed. They set a standard for what a kingdom could achieve, creating a legacy of art, science, and philosophy that has been studied, admired, and built upon for thousands of years. That is why we call ancient Egypt a true cradle of civilization. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this fascinating, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the past. See you next time. Hey everyone, and welcome back to our series on why ancient Egypt is hailed as a cradle of civilization. In parts 1 and 2, we explored their incredible achievements in writing, architecture, and governance. Today, in part 3, we're diving deep into the spiritual and scientific realms that truly set them apart. Ready to have your mind blown? Let's get into it. First, let's talk about their complex religious beliefs. The ancient Egyptians had a rich pantheon of gods and goddesses, each governing different aspects of life and the cosmos. Think of Ra, the sun god, sailing across the sky each day, or Osiris, the god of the afterlife. This wasn't just mythology. It was a framework for understanding the world. Their profound belief in an afterlife led to the intricate practice of mummification and the construction of elaborate tombs, like those in the Valley of the Kings. They believed the body needed to be preserved for the soul to journey into the next world. This deep spiritual focus provided a sense of order, morality, and purpose that unified society for millennia. It was a cultural glue that held their civilization together through thick and thin. But their genius wasn't limited to the spiritual. Ancient Egyptians were also master scientists and mathematicians. Think about it. How could they build the pyramids with such precision without an advanced understanding of geometry and engineering? They developed a decimal system and had concepts for multiplication and fractions. They used this knowledge not just for building monuments, but also for practical tasks like surveying land after the annual Nile floods and calculating taxes. Their calendar, based on the solar year, was astonishingly accurate. They divided the year into 365 days, with 12 months of 30 days each, plus 5 extra festival days at the end. This system is a direct ancestor of the calendar we use today. Furthermore, their medical knowledge was far ahead of its time. The Birthplace papyrus, one of the oldest preserved medical documents, contains over 700 magical formulas and remedies. It shows they had a basic understanding of anatomy and surgery, likely learned from the mummification process. They could set broken bones, perform simple surgeries, and had remedies for various ailments, from dental problems to digestive issues. While their medicine was intertwined with magic and religious rituals, it laid the foundational groundwork for systematic medical observation and treatment. They were identifying diseases, diagnosing patients, and prescribing treatments thousands of years before modern medicine. So, when we pull it all together, their profound spirituality, their advanced mathematics, their precise calendar, and their pioneering medical practices, it's clear that ancient Egypt wasn't just a powerful kingdom, it was a powerhouse of innovation and thought that illuminated the path for future civilizations. Their ideas on religion, science, and medicine were passed down through the ages, influencing the Greeks, the Romans, and ultimately, the entire Western world. They truly provided the building blocks for so much of what we consider modern knowledge. That's a wrap for today's journey into the heart of ancient Egypt. Their legacy is a powerful reminder of human ingenuity and our endless quest for knowledge and meaning. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Hello, history buffs, and welcome back to our deep dive into ancient Egypt. Last time, we explored their incredible contributions to medicine and mathematics. Today, in part 4, we're setting our sights on something equally monumental: their architecture and engineering. When you think of ancient Egypt, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For many, it's the towering pyramids and majestic temples, right? These structures weren't just impressive for their time, they remain some of the most enduring marvels of the ancient world. And they reveal a level of genius that continues to baffle experts today. Let's start with the big 1. The pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Giza, for example, was the tallest man-made structure in the world for nearly 4,000 years. Think about that. How did they achieve such a feat without modern machinery? It required an astonishing understanding of logistics, geometry, and resource management. They had to quarry, transport, and perfectly place millions of massive stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. The precision is mind-boggling. The sides of the Great Pyramid are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass. This wasn't just construction, it was a cosmic statement, connecting the earthly realm of the pharaoh with the eternal stars. But their architectural prowess didn't stop at pyramids. Walk through the ruins of Karnak or Luxor, and you'll be dwarfed by colossal statues and forests of intricately carved columns. These temples were complex, multifunctional spaces. They were religious centers, administrative hubs, and even economic powerhouses. The Egyptians were masters of post and lintel construction, creating vast hypostyle halls with ceilings that seemed to float above rows of massive columns. They also developed sophisticated techniques for managing sunlight, using clerestory windows to illuminate the sacred inner chambers while keeping the desert heat at bay. Every element had a purpose, both practical and symbolic, designed to inspire and reinforce the power of the gods and the pharaoh, beyond the grandeur. It's the sheer longevity that solidifies Egypt's legacy. Many of their building techniques laid the groundwork for later civilizations, including the Greeks and Romans. Concepts like the column, the architrave, and large-scale stonework were refined and adapted, but their origins can be traced back to the banks of the Nile. The Egyptians didn't just build for their own time. They built for eternity. They pioneered a monumental architectural language that has echoed through the millennia. Their ability to organize massive labor forces, engineer solutions to complex problems, and create structures that harmonize with their environment is a powerful testament to their ingenuity. So, when we ask why Egypt is a cradle of civilization, their architectural legacy provides a powerful answer. They didn't just stack stones, they sculpted landscapes, engineered wonders, and built a bridge between humanity and the divine that has captivated us for thousands of years. From the pyramids that pierce the sky to the temples that map the cosmos, their buildings are a masterclass in vision, skill, and enduring ambition. Join us next time for our final part, where we'll wrap everything up and look at the lasting cultural impact of this incredible civilization. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this journey through time, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our grand finale. We'll see you then.